Right now, more than 1 in 4 drivers on a Mississippi road has no car insurance whatsoever. That's not a guess. That's what the data shows. Uninsured drivers in Mississippi are one of the most common and least discussed dangers on our road. And when one of those drivers runs a light and hits you, you find out very fast what that means for your case. Let me tell you what you need to know before it happens to you. Let me give you the real picture. According to the Insurance Research Council, Mississippi is the #1 state in the country for uninsured drivers. The 2023 estimate puts the rate at 28.2%. That is roughly 1 in 4 drivers on the road with you right now carrying no liability coverage at all. None. Alabama runs around 17% uninsured. Tennessee is around 21%. Across our tri-state region, millions of uninsured drivers share the road with insured, responsible drivers every single day. Here's why that matters more than most people realize. Most folks assume that when someone hits them, that person's insurance covers the bills, the lost work, the pain and suffering. That's how it's supposed to work. But when the driver who hits you has no insurance, that system completely breaks down. And here's the part insurance companies are counting on you not knowing. Here's a common scenario that we see. You're stopped at a red light, an uninsured driver rear-ends you. Serious injuries, ambulance, surgery, weeks off work. You call a lawyer, and that is when you find out the driver who hit you has no insurance and no real assets worth pursuing. Now what do? Suing an uninsured driver is technically an option. Getting them to pay is an entirely different story. I've worked with folks who got a judgment against an uninsured driver and never saw a dollar out of it. The paper says they won. Their medical bills still went unpaid. Here's the thing. Mississippi technically requires liability insurance, but the enforcement is weak, and plenty of people drive without it for years without consequences until they cause a wreck. And by then, it's your problem. There's a way to protect yourself before any of this happens. Most people in Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee are just not taking advantage of it. It's called uninsured motorist coverage, UM for short, and UIM for underinsured motorist coverage, for when the at-fault driver has some insurance, but not enough to cover your losses. This is a coverage you buy on your own policy. When someone with no insurance hits you, or when someone with too little insurance hits you, your UM/UIM coverage steps in. It pays your medical bills, your lost wages, your pain and suffering. In a state where 1 in 4 drivers have nothing, UM and UIM coverage is not optional. It's essential. Mississippi requires insurance companies to offer this coverage, but you can reject it, and a lot of people do, because they're trying to lower that monthly premium. Do not do that. Not here. Not in a state where we have these kinds of numbers. Now here's what nobody tells you. You file a UM claim. You're filing against your own insurance company, and your own insurance company is not automatically on your side. They will fight that claim the same way they fight every other one that's presented. That brings us to what you should do right now. First, pull out your insurance policy today. Find the UM/UIM section. Know what your limits are. If you don't have UM coverage, call your agent right now and add it. The premium difference is very small. The difference in what you can recover is not. It's huge. Second, if you're in a wreck with an uninsured driver, call a lawyer before you talk to any insurance company, including your own. The moment you give a recorded statement without knowing your rights, you've started limiting your case. Third, do not assume the other driver has nothing. Sometimes they do have assets worth pursuing. Sometimes their employer is involved. Sometimes there are other responsible parties. That is for us, for a lawyer to investigate, not for you to decide in the emergency room. You have rights in this state, even when the person who hurt you tried to skip the system. Don't let that be you. The person who got hurt and got nothing because they didn't know how this worked. The next video covers what insurance companies do not want you to know about your own claim. And a lot of what I just described about UM claims is in there. Watch that next. It will change how you think about every insurance interaction going forward. I'll see you over there.